Good morning, lovelies. Danyelle here from Transcendence to the Truth. I am on this morning because I wanted to explain and share a little bit about where I'm at the moment and the kind of information and content that you guys will be receiving on my pages going forward. So I'm going to wait a little bit for a couple of people to jump on. When you jump on, can you please press a 1 if you're watching live, where you're from, and a 2 if you're watching the replay. I really appreciate anyone's support, sharing the message of consciousness and personal development so that we can start transcending our minds into living actually happy lives. So I'll wait for a couple of people to jump on. Make sure you say hi. Also, if you really do enjoy my content and what I have to share, please click follow first on either of my pages and share my content with any friends that you may think this may add value to their life. So basically, I have been going through, I would call it probably another awakening if we want to define it in language. And I knew my child's.
Mom, what are we doing?
Can you wait out there? Mummy will be out soon. So I have been going through, for the last couple of months, quite a big energetic shift. And before this point, I was already in quite a high level of consciousness. And I actually honestly had told myself and deceived myself that there maybe wasn't too... It sounds ridiculous now because I know that we're always growing and always evolving and there's no limit to how conscious and aware you can become. But I suppose I had trapped myself with my mind that I was at a pretty good state and I'd probably be there for quite a long time. However, when I did awaken, or when I did have my first sort of real mystical experiences, not long after that, I made a choice. And I made a choice in a space where I was in a very low space in myself and in quite low depression. And I made a demand of myself and a request from the universe that I would get to the highest state of consciousness as fast as possible because I couldn't keep living the way I was. And had I understood then how much power our words hold, I probably would have rephrased that. I probably wouldn't have made such a massive demand on myself or the universe. However, once I made it, my life shifted and changed very quickly. I was already in the spiritual community. I grew up in a spiritual family. So because I was in beauty therapy and I've done a lot of social media marketing and empowerment of women and self-love teachings and all of these things that you sort of get when you first get into personal development, I have been sharing to the masses more. My point of view at the time, and has been for a long time, was, well, I had people following me for this reason, so quite ego-based reasons, really, and that may be confronting for people, especially if you've followed me for a long time, but people were following me because I appeared to have my life together, I appeared to have the beautiful family and the perfect husband, and I was successful in my beauty business, and I was attractive to look at, and I was creating all these goals in my social media marketing, and I was traveling. And so the people that were watching me then were watching based on where they were at that point in time, as I was an inspiration, okay? Or they were either putting judgments that I have this amazing life and I'm so successful and I'm all of this, but they can't do that. So that is sort of which most of my people and a lot of them have actually dropped off away over the last 12 months, and I'm totally in allowance and acceptance of that because the content that I'm going to start sharing, and the higher that it gets, the more that people at a lower level of consciousness are just not going to understand or comprehend, because your mind cannot dissect or make sense of something that you have zero insight on. It's like if, so I'm going to quote something, not quote, I'm going to try and quote something that Leo from actualize.org said around, if you don't basically go through the process of development, then when you hit these higher levels, it can't compute in your brain. So it's like if a grade 6 person in primary school goes and does a year 12 calculus. I don't even know if there is year 12 calculus. So, but you can try and you can mentally try and understand different perspectives of such a large worldview of consciousness, but unless you've gone through the process of a lot of different things, you won't understand it. So when I was in a lower level of consciousness, I know that there was a lot of things that some of my teachers were telling me over and over and over that I just wasn't able to receive. I was not even able to receive. It's all about the inner work. You just got to go through the process. To me, at where I was like, that is a fucking cop-out. There's got to be a way to get there. Like, there's got to be tools, there's got to be teachings, there's got to be... And there was. And there are tools. And there's definitely working with coaches and understanding different modalities and, understanding how your mind locks you up and how to self-reflect, how to question yourself, how to step back and look at different perspectives is definitely a very, very good way to learn and grow and move forward. But unless you're implementing those things and making a demand of yourself to do it consistently, which means being present, being in the moment, so that you're not going into autopilot, you're not going into ego judgments or triggers, you're not projecting your emotions onto other people. So this new direction for me has a lot to do with what I have done. And I've only really shared with a lot of my close friends or people that know me quite well, because it is quite high level and you can be seen as, and it's working through the judgments of how other people will see you. And of course, like, I'm not perfect. I'm definitely not completely conscious and I've still got things and my mind still tricks me. But I can live in this space majority of the time where I live in no judgment of people. I do see that I'm one with the universe. I am God. Like, I actually see and feel these things, whereas a lot of people can understand. We're not going anywhere. You're going to have Maggie come soon. Can you please hop out? Mummy, come out soon. All right. So the people that know me closely know where I'm at, but what I've been sharing up until this point has been more to where majority of people's mindsets set. So there's different levels of consciousness, and there's quite a few different dynamics. What would you call them? Processes. No. Studies, the word's not there, but basically that there's the Hawkins level of consciousness, there's spiral dynamics. I'm looking into the 9 stages of ego development, and these things explain where people are at. And majority of people are in the lower stages. They haven't even got to any point of awakening and any point in their mind where you can see further of what else is available, and that where there is infinite possibility, and we are infinite energy, and we are the evolution and evolving of the universe, and that we are all connected. So for me, going from where I was at to where I want to go, I was like, I will start talking to the masses. So we'll talk to the 80% of people and where they're at, personal development, inspiration, doing that, and then just throw in a few high-level questions occasionally, or put some interesting dynamics in there to get people to think. Whereas for me, I've had enough of a perspective shift and enough of this is what I'm here to do on the planet, is where I've come to with my own realizations is that I am here to teach people that are willing to transcend their mind and to transcend to the truth being that we are all united, we are all connected. There's only one truth, and that truth isn't, you can't explain in a sentence. So this is where having, say, like enlightened experiences or awakenings or mystical experiences, you can have them at any stage of your development, right? Any level of consciousness, you can actually have these. So it doesn't mean that you're awake and conscious. And that is something that our mind and our ego will try and trick us into thinking. Well, those are glimpses of what is available to us all of the time if we choose it. If we choose and make a demand of ourselves in every single moment of every single day, and to detach and actually completely detach from any belief systems, any limitations, people, situations, things, to get to a space where you have removed all of the significance from your life, that you realize that the only thing that really matters is consciousness, and that is all there is. Any other thing is a belief that we've added meaning to for a reason and justification to live our lives the way that we have, for the choices that we have. Because why would we, when you ask something as what is the meaning of life, and how philosophical that can be, is people want to put so much information onto that of what is the meaning of life? What if there's no meaning of life? What if the meaning of life is exactly what your mind has decided is the meaning of life? You are so precious. You know that. Oh, babe. Can you go wash your hands and I'll go find your Band-Aid?
Yeah.
Yeah? Can you give me a few more minutes? Yes? I appreciate you. Love you. Love you, Mommy. So, focus and breath is very helpful to bring yourself back into the present moment, to connect into your heart center. Some of the heart-centered techniques you can use is just thinking of something that makes you feel so much love, so you can get back to that space. And when you're sharing from that space, it's very easy to be present and aware with everything you're communicating. Because you do have focus, you're 100% present. So maybe sometimes the wording and the communication may get lost in translation, but you can sit there and you can be there and you can focus on what you're trying to deliver. And I feel like I have not done as much of that on my live videos as I would like to, and that's a real focus for me moving forward, because I have still gone into connecting too much with the energies of other people, so the people watching, because I am super hyper aware, and I'm always analysing my own thoughts when I'm not in a state of being. So it's like, darling, can you please wait? You want to sit?
Yeah.
Okay, but you need to be quiet. Can you do that? You sit up there, okay. Just be careful because my phone, all right?
Why?
So it's it's going to make a big shift. It's going to be a lot from the personal development and spirituality, which I personally do not actually resonate with. I don't resonate with personal development or spirituality at all, because for me, I've worked through and I've moved past that, and that is a very real stage for a lot of people, and there's no wrong or right to that. Every single stage is important. Okay, so moving to the point of transcending the human mind and getting to a high level of consciousness, we don't understand that, or most people don't look at that. You have to go through these layers, and you have to keep rising up and going through the process. And that's why people who are of a high level of consciousness can have no judgment. They can relate and see where people are at and ask the right questions, because they've been there and they've done that, and they've been able to step out of their own egoic self and see the bigger picture of what people are creating. So working with a high level coach, if this is something that's a priority to you, is great. Like watching these sort of videos and reading books that are of if you're already in a level, no, please don't. If you're already in a level of, awakening, and this is something that you have decided is a part of your purpose and something that you've defined in your life that you want to commit time and energy to, it is a commitment, and it does mean destroying everything and looking at everything that you believed was true and real in yourself and in your life, and being an allowance of letting all of that go. And I honestly believe for myself that is the only reason that I'd shifted from my lower level of consciousness to my higher level of consciousness in less than 12 months, because I was committed to that. I made a demand, and our minds are powerful, super powerful. And most people will spend, several years in each level, because what they do is they want to understand and they stay in this moment, but their minds lock you up. So you can actually, instead of moving up with your level of consciousness, you gain information going outwards. So say you're an entrepreneur and a business mindset, and you're all about having an high IQ, and which, mind you, is not actually a very high level of consciousness, just so you're aware. But having this massive amount of information, you might learn all these different degrees, and you'll get really high up in the professional world, and you get to these levels of being successful, but you've gone outwards. You've learned so much in this one level of mind, where if you don't, that's where we lock ourselves up. We want to learn everything on this level, but we don't learn higher teachings, and we don't open our mind and broaden our mind and our perspective to what else is possible. So that is briefly, hopefully briefly enough, an explanation as to where the direction I'll be going. That I will be talking about things that I haven't really spoken about on this platform or on any other platform. I've finally decided to commit to writing my book, because just like everyone else, my egoic self goes into a space of avoidance or denial of knowing, not having that belief and knowing within myself. So that can happen at every level, and it's like I'm still transitioning. I've still got a lot of growth. No, Baba, let Mummy talk. But I'm at a stage where I no longer put my trust in other people or other teachings. Please don't whinge. Please don't whinge. You say hello. Say hello. Oh, okay, don't say hello. So up until this point in my life, I have continued to give over my trust and my knowing, and looked for validation and looked for more information and looked for more knowledge to support what I knew. So what I know, rather than just teaching what I know. So I've gotten to a point where I do feel comfortable just telling my truths and what I've experienced and my wisdom from my heart, rather than having to, because I have enough self-love, and there's nothing that I know can be, anything anyone would say would not change that. And it's not because I'm not open-minded, it's because it is so profound that it's a feeling. And my battery's low. It's such a profound feeling that there's no way to dispute that. It's not possible, because once you've had these experiences, there's probably way more infinite possibilities that I don't know about. But can you shut this up? It's actually like blinding me.
No, I know.
Yeah, I'm going to finish the video because I am getting very distracted. Alira is very good at that. She's an interesting character. And she will probably choose to do some very interesting, amazing things on this planet. Very high vibrational being that's adjusting into this reality. So I hope you all enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts. I'm very curious to know if this is something that is going to excite you into transcending your consciousness level to the truth, or if it's something that maybe you will end up not following and not finding alignment with, which is totally okay. And I love you all. Have a beautiful day.